NASCAR is really, really close to announcing their plans to move the Busch Clash from Daytona International Speedway to the LA Coliseum. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're going to be talking about NASCAR's potential move to the LA Coliseum. It was reported this morning by Jordan Bianchi that NASCAR is close to moving the Busch Clash to the LA Coliseum. According to his report that he reported this morning, he says that this event would take place a couple weeks before the Daytona 500 took place, instead of taking place on the same week like we've had this year in 2021 due to Super Bowl being pushed back, and then NASCAR season starting a little bit earlier than it's going to be next year. NASCAR, it looks like they're going to be pushing it up a little bit to around February 6th. So this is how the schedule worked for the NFL and NASCAR. So you have the AFC Championship and the AFC Championship games. Then, because of the dead weekend, no one really cares about the Pro Bowl, let's be honest. They would move this race in between that during the Pro Bowl happens, and I'm not sure if it'd be on NBCSN or FS1. It'd probably be on Fox Sports 1, let's be honest. I think that this race should be on the main Fox network. I think really, really get it hyped up. But that would be the case. Now, the other big question going around the garage now is it is unclear if this car is going to be used is going to basically end up being used at this event. Now, if you want my honest and sincere opinion when it comes to this event and this car being used in an action car, we cannot have this car run this event. I know that Denny Hamlin has said coming into this, they said they're probably not going to run this car except until the Daytona 500, but there is, again, because that was, of course, when they decided to delay it a little bit back to earlier this year. So here's a lot of things to note. So the NASCAR has held the Busch Clash at Daytona since the beginning when they introduced the event in 1979, but they've been changing it back and forth. They had this event in the daytime at the beginning, and then around 2003, 2004, NASCAR decided to move this event into the evening time. And then around 2016, 2017, NASCAR decided to move this event back to the day. Originally, this event actually in 2017, I believe, was supposed to happen in the evening, but then they decided to move it to the daytime, and then in 2018, they kept the changes. And then last year in 2021, this year in 2021, they moved the Busch Clash from the Daytona, the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway, down to the road course because, well, let's be for real, it had become a test session for the season, and they decided to change it. And then they basically brought a regular season race to Daytona road course because due to COVID-19, they were not able to have an event at Auto Club International Speedway in 2021 this year due to COVID-19 being really bad at that point. NASCAR decided to move it to Daytona road course earlier this year, and now it looks like they're moving it back to the LA area. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit more because there are some positives to this move, and there are some negatives overall to this move. Let's start off with the positives. Number one, if we move it to the LA Coliseum and we don't know the configuration of it, is believe that it'll probably be a quarter-mile track. But if we move it, it is another short track on the schedule, and NASCAR has been pushing for more short tracks on the schedule. You take a look at their push to get North Wilkesboro back on the schedule. They've been going out there and cleaning that track up, so you have that going on. You also have a push to get the National Fairgrounds back on the schedule, and not to mention, they're looking to convert to the Auto Club area. They're looking to go Auto Club to a short track as well for 2023. Originally supposed to be a short track in 2022, but because of the fact that, due to COVID-19, they pushed it back here so fans that go to that race can be able to experience it one last time in an event. So it would be another short track. Another big benefactor is it is a massive, massive market in the LA area. LA area is a massive, massive market for anybody. And I know that Auto Club is like 40 minutes away, so it's in the LA area. But like Nashville, I think that this area does deserve 2 races. And another big reason is that the LA Coliseum is absolutely a historic place. It hosted the 1959 World Series. I think Game 4, Game 3, and Game 5 of the World Series. It's hosted 2 Super Bowls in I think it hosted Super Bowl in 1984. And I think back in the 60s or 70s, it hosted a Super Bowl as well. And it's hosted a ton of college games in the past as well. So this track, this Coliseum, is extremely historic, and it would also be there. And also NASCAR does have experience racing in a football stadium as well. They actually ran in 1956 at Soldier Field, and we haven't raced in a football stadium since 1984. So that's another benefit right there. And like I said, it's a huge market, and not only are you going to attract the hardcore fans, and there's probably a lot of fans of NASCAR that are in that LA area, but you're also going to be able to attract a ton of casual fans as well because they're going to see LA Coliseum and NASCAR. They may be able to pay tickets as well. And another big thing is attendance. That track, that area, hosts 77,000 fans inside that stadium. So you would have one of the largest crowds, and I guarantee you that you would sell out. Of course, ticket prices would be really, really high, but of course, you'd be able to sell out and bring a lot of fans into that event as well. So those are overall the positives of this move. The negatives are, first, the travel costs. One of the big things I'm negative about this is the fact that you're going to have to travel a couple weeks before the season starts. You're going to have to travel from all the way North Carolina over to California, back to Florida for the season, because the Speed Weeks, of course, takes place about 2 weeks after this is going to take place. So you're going to have to basically travel it back. Now, one thing to note is that NASCAR, like I said, has started the season in California. The difference is, however, is that back then when they ran at Riverside, they ran that in early January to mid-January. When they're timetabling this one, they're timetabling this 2 weeks before. So there is going to be a lot of time, and it's going to be a lot more travel costs for the fans as well. So that's one of the negatives right there, and it's going to cost teams a ton of money. The other big negative to this, in my honest opinion, is that you're basically going to be, unfortunately, hurting the Daytona Speed Weeks weekend, because how Daytona Speed Weeks used to work before the Super Bowl got pushed back week is that they used to have basically 1 week of extravaganza, because remember, they used to have the Super Bowl 2 weeks before the season started. Now you're only going to have 1 week for the Super Bowl, but you're going to basically unfortunately, don't have that anymore, because what they used to be is you could have Daytona Clash on Saturday, Sunday. You have qualifying on Saturday, Sunday. Then you have a bunch of practice sessions that are expected to return in majority this year. And then you would have the Daytona Duels on Friday. Also, you would have the ARCA race on the Saturday of the Busch Clash as well. You would also end up having that. And then you have the Truck Series on Friday night, the Cup Series on Sunday, and then also the Xfinity Series on Saturday night as well. Unfortunately, this year, because the season got pushed back a little bit, what you basically have in a situation you have right now is you basically had all this compacted in one season. Remember, you had the Busch Clash on a Tuesday, you have Cup qualifying on Wednesday, and then you had basically the qualifying race on Thursday. Then you had the Xfinity Series race on Friday, and then the the Xfinity race, on Saturday. You had the Xfinity and ARC races on Saturday, and then you have the truck race on Friday, and then you would have the Daytona 500 take place on Sunday as well. So now, unfortunately, what's going to end up happening is you're basically going to be hurting over all the Daytona Speeds, because you're going to be compacting into 1 weekend. Now, there is potential that maybe Homestead could be the second race again next year, but there's also talk right now that unless the schedule changes, there's talk that Daytona would basically open up the season, a regular season, and then you would move basically over to Auto Club to be the second race, so Auto Club can get started on their project early, so we can have the short track race ready for 2023. Of course, a lot of people are probably more happy because it's going to be full throttle racing next year with the next gen car, is what it's believed to be. But that's what some of the negatives, unfortunately. Another big question I have right now going into this, and one of the reasons I'm a little bit questionable about this is because of the COVID virus. Now, right now, it is September, and they're timetabled this to be about 5 months away from today. What is the situation going to be with COVID-19? Because I do think that is going to be a big factor into it. Now, I would assume there potentially is a chance that everyone would have to be vaccinated to go to that event, especially in the California area, especially since California and New York, compared to other states, and even up in Portland, they are much more stricter than other states like Texas and Florida. They are much more stricter. So that could be a big benefactor and a huge decision maker into what the schedule is going to look like. Now, we don't know exactly when the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule is going to be released. It is being rumored and believed that it could come out in the coming weeks now, and this could be one of the major changes. And NASCAR, like I said, has been talking about making some major changes, and this definitely would be a major change. But like I said, I do think that there are benefactors, and honestly, I don't see why not try something new. I mean, it is, for the love of God, it is another short track. That's another cool thing right there, and why not try something different? I mean, it is an exhibition event as well. I know Daytona has had historical presence, but that it has it there. But let's talk about this. I would rather, though, in my personal opinion, go to like a regular short track, like New Smyrna, which is in the Florida area, which could really help Speedweeks, or even go to the North Carolina area and run a Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, that'd probably be really, really cold, so you probably have to be in the Florida area to race, or you have to be in the California area to race, because I think that's one big factor why people are probably going to go to Bowman Gray Stadium. Or, if you want, in my opinion, honestly, why not make this the All-Star race? If you wanted to keep traditional fans happy, why not make this the All-Star race, and then why not make this the All-Star race, and then basically make the Daytona race open up and move it from the Texas All-Star race, which unfortunately Texas is probably still going to end up having the All-Star race next year, despite some ownership change. That's probably going to end up being the race next year. So again, I'm very interested to see what comes out of this, to be perfectly honest with you, because again, I think it's really interesting that they're making changes. And again, I'm a more traditional fan. If I had to make a decision, I'd rather keep it in Daytona, but let's be for real. The Busch Clash has been changing left, right, and center. They're making a lot of changes. And again, it is another exhibition event, so why not go ahead and make some changes? I think that this change could have some benefits, but it also probably could have some negative benefits as well. Like I said, you get another short track on the schedule, and you get some benefits of being the LA Coliseum, which is a very, very historic track. But you also have those potential negatives as well of costs and everything. And there are positives and negatives. I don't say that this move is a great move. I don't say this move is a bad move. I say that this is going to be a neutral move in my opinion. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And again, this may not come to fruition, but there's also room for a while that this was going to happen. There have been talks all the way back in March and April when those rumors began starting. And then basically about a week ago, they had reporting with the talk of Gateway, which we don't know what's going on with Gateway right now, but there's talk that Gateway is also potentially going to have a Cup Series date as well in the foreseeable future. So we're definitely going to have to wait and see what happens on this, but I'm very, very intrigued to see what goes down. I'm definitely very intrigued. I will say this. I am very intrigued about to see how the racing is. Now, another big thing is that you can't. Let's hope that if this event does happen, let's just hope and pray that there aren't 25 or 30 cars out there. I wonder how they're going to qualify people. Are they going to have practice, going to go by qualifying sessions that we had this year? Or are they going to do what they did this year where they basically had all the stage winners, some of the people that made the playoffs, and then past winners of this event? Because I think there's a lot of drivers that could be eligible for that. You have guys right now like Bubba Wallace who are eligible for that. They did not make the playoffs. I believe that Ross Chastain might be eligible for that as well. You also have Matty D. He's able to get a Cup Series right for next year. You also have him, who's also potentially eligible as well to make that event as well. I'm definitely intrigued to see how this goes down. I'm wondering what the eligibility is going to be. We're probably going to know about the NASCAR Cup Series schedule very soon, but it's very likely that this move is going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in regards to this, but I'm definitely looking forward to see what goes down in regards to NASCAR's move potentially to the LA Coliseum in 2022. So, anyway, that is it for today's NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to our channel, notifications so you're notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support pages from the link description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. Do you think NASCAR is officially going to move this race to the LA Coliseum or not? And if they do, are you really, really excited about it, or you think that this is a bad move and NASCAR should remain in the Daytona area? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content like this on the channel. Take care, everybody.